All right, on this Garlic Marketing Show, we're going to talk about growing an amazing dental practice, an amazing orthodontic practice using AI, using Invisalign with one of the industry's leader, Mr. Dean Steinman. Dean, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And we're talking about creating how they create the number one Invisalign practice, how they get 98% of their clients to Google, to number one on Google. What's the difference between the clients that really succeed and make amazing leads and those that don't? The number of times that you need to reach out and follow up with the internet lead, and how to start using AI to do that. Why you shouldn't have your dental practice even touching that. Why you need to be number one for Invisalign. Why Google is still so important, especially for getting more referrals. And how to sell more cosmetic dental cases using Invisalign. All this on the amazing Garlic Marketing Show. But first, before this, don't forget this is brought to you by videocasestory.com. We'll talk about social proof. It's so important. If you want to learn how to get that social proof, make sure to pick up the book, Testimonials, Video Testimonials That Land the Big Fish. It will help any type of business get more business. All right, let's get started. Before we get into this, because I really want to, AI is one of those things that's hot for everyone. Everyone's trying to figure it out. I want to see what your insights are. And I think Invisalign's really interesting marketing practice, especially as a lot of dentists are entering into it, and you work with a lot of orthodontists too. But before we get started on that, tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into marketing for orthodontic practice and dentists.
Yeah, so I've been running my own marketing company for 25 plus years, even more. And I built my first website back in 1995.
Wow.
Before the internet even was a thing. Real background before that was I used to work for the Yellow Pages. I'm dating myself, but there was no Google. I used to walk around with that big yellow book, and I sold ads in that. And that's how you found something before you Googled it. So I worked for a big corporation, and then decided to run my own company, doing that for a bit. And then when the internet kind of exploded, I had a good friend of mine who was an orthodontist. And I looked at his website and I said, "Oh man, your website sucks. I got to help you out here, bud." So I built him a website, did marketing for him, and he tracked everything. And at the end of the year, I became his biggest source of new patients. Luckily for me at that time, he got a job with Invisalign. So he would go around and talk and speak about why you need to put Invisalign in your practice. He was nice enough to say the reason I'm successful is the company I hired. Fast forward 15 years later, hundreds of practices we've worked with word of mouth and getting our name out there. And I'd say we're in the smile business. Our job is to make people smile. And orthodontists make people smile. So if you can make somebody smile every day, it's a good day, man. So that's our quick little story.
And you've grown a lot of amazing practices for people. What story stands out to you the most? Like when you say, this is one of my favorite success stories.
I'd like to be able to put our vet in quite a few hats. We have one practice in California who we got to be the number one Invisalign provider in the whole state of California.
Wow.
We have another client in Toronto who is the youngest Invisalign diamond provider in North America. Because we have another client who by herself just reached Invisalign diamond status within 3 years. Very, very hard topic to do. Top 1% in the country. A lot of our clients are doing that. 98% of our clients are number one on Google for Invisalign in their market.
Wow. That is amazing. That's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
And what does being number one in Google for Invisalign do for practice? How does that change the practice?
It's a game changer. I'd say almost every practice we work with, the internet is the number one source of new patients. Plain and simple. You're looking for something, you're doing it. Even if you get a referral to somebody, you're still going to Google somebody else just to get a second opinion or just see if the price is right or whatever it is. Just get them in the ball game. It means a lot. Typically getting up to the top of Google is at least worth 6 figures a year. Minimum.
And I think you made a really important point that you just really quickly said, but it improves referrals, doesn't it?
Sure does. Yeah, it solidifies the practice. It gives you that thumbs up that shows you're real, especially organically. Anybody could put up an ad tomorrow and be number one. But a lot of people don't like to click ads. A lot of people like to go to where it says non-sponsored. And to get somebody to there, I always tell clients the second hardest thing I do is get you to the top of Google. The first hardest is keep you there. Because once we get you there, then the real work begins.
But it's obviously it's worth it because I think this is a concept that, yes, it gets traffic, but it builds authority, doesn't it? Because it's like people, you and I know it's technically not, it doesn't say how good they are, but people believe if you're number one in Google that you are actually the best, don't they?
They sure do. I've got one client that somebody came in about 2 or 3 weeks ago and literally traveled past 150 other orthodontists to get to him. It's like, why did you travel 45 minutes to come to me? You're like, well, we found you on the top of Google. You got to be the best.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And like you and I know it's not, it doesn't mean they're the best, but people believe
Perception.
it.
Yeah.
It's perception. And I think I've heard so many people say, well, I get out everything from referrals. I'm like, referrals are dying unless you are at the top of Google. And no, and like smart people aren't going to say, oh, I saw your number on Google, even though I got the referral. They're going to say, oh, so and so referred me, but they're still, aren't they? They're still going to go Google you.
It just shows they just want to just double check and see your hours, make sure they can find you if somebody refers. So of lead is referral, plain and simple, from a doctor or a patient or what have you. But a Google search is right up there with it, and the Google search solidifies the referral, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, obviously, you all do websites, you do SEO, you do paid traffic, and we're talking about AI in a second, which I think is important, and just overall Invisalign marketing. But before we get there, when you look at the practices, and you've got 98% at number one, and I'm sure, like any marketing agency, you've got some that are doing really well, and some that are saying, "Oh, the leads from Google are not good. I'm getting bad leads." What is the difference between those two types of practices?
Somebody who gets it and somebody who doesn't. There's no such thing as a bad lead. Somebody picks up the phone and calls you or reaches out to you. It's up to you to tell your story and convert them to have the best story or the best way to convert them. My job is to get butts in the seat and any marketing company's job is to do that. From there, it's in your hands to be able to tell how great you are and get them there. We did our job and got them interested, picked up the phone and called you or requested an appointment. The heavy lifting was done. Now you just got to basically just figure out how to get them there. And then, we're talking about AI in a second, is then to make sure that the process is automated and to reach out. You have to reach out to somebody 8 times before they show up.
Wow.
And I can't tell you how many businesses, I don't know what dentists, but business in general, somebody fills out a form on your website or contacts you, and then the business will call them back, hopefully ASAP, but most of them will do it within a day or two. And by that time, you already blew it. And then you left one message say it's a bad lead, and then you don't reach them again. So you got to constantly, so you hear the word no, make it a self-propelling machine.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because I think AI is a great automation tool. But I think people think they're annoying people when they follow up. But I know, like, I reached out to a provider, and it wasn't healthcare, but something for our house last week. It's someone I knew, and they followed up with me 3 or 4 times. I'm not annoyed by it. It's because I'm so busy, and I'm like, oh, I haven't had time to talk to them. Is there that? Do you think that's why people don't follow up, or is it laziness? Why don't you think they're following up the 8-9 times?
It's multiple ways. The A is they're afraid of being a nuisance, but you're not. Remember, they reached out to you. You didn't reach out to them. They made the first knock on the door. So you're not being annoying because they said reach out to you first looking for your information. So, is to don't say no. And sometimes when it comes to sales, you want to hear no rather than I'll let you know. Sometimes because just don't waste time. Red, yellow, green. I want to know if somebody's green or red. Yellow is just stuck in nowhere's land. So A is people are afraid to keep doing it. B is they don't have the bandwidth to continually follow up, and so they don't have the protocol or platform or process to follow up. And that's where AI and technology comes in. It should be all automated. It should be the only thing that business owner staff should be doing is customer service, getting them in and making them smile. Do what you do best. Your job is not to figure out how to automate a program or how to reach out to them and when to do it. It should be set up for you the right way. So all you do is just look at your calendar and say, okay, I got an appointment in 5 minutes.
And so AI, it's huge and people are trying to figure it out. What are some of the easiest, fastest things that people can do to use AI for right now? So a dental practice to get more, as you say, butts in the seat and close more of those Invisalign cases.
The easiest thing to do right now is to set up a basic CRM automation program. So when somebody does go to your website and they are requesting more information or scheduling in, to make sure that the process is, until they say no or hit accept or confirm, you want to have a two-way conversation with somebody. When somebody, if you're a dental practice and you send out, somebody makes an appointment for next Thursday at 5 o'clock, well, an email or text will go out saying, don't reminder, you have it. You want them to respond back. And with them doing that, they took the initiative. And then from there, it's almost confirmed. But more people just it's noise, texts, emails, what have you. It's just noise. So the thing to do is to make sure that it's just set up properly until somebody is moved from all right, we're going to come in, but until they move to, yes, I will be there and confirm it, they're still a maybe. So let the process take its place until somebody gives you a thumbs up. And then from there, you can move them, and even better, keep them in that process until they show up and start. And then you move them from the maybe to the yes or the no.
Yeah. And do you feel like people don't do this because they're using antiquated software that doesn't connect to, let's say, a CRM?
Yeah, they're just afraid the software they have, the program they have doesn't work. Most dental practice softwares don't have this in place. They're made for you to organize your practice and to do that, but it's not a marketing program. It's a practice management program. There's a lot of components in there, from billing to files to whatever. That's what those programs and softwares are built around. It's not really built around a marketing program. Until somebody says yes and gives you content, gives you pictures, gives you records, whatever it is, they're a prospect. They don't cross into your software yet. Okay, and that's something that people don't understand. You have to change. Everybody's afraid of change, and change is good, but you have to adapt to it. You have to. I use this quote a million times on my podcast: adapt or die in any business. And if you're not adapting to the times, adapting technology, see ya, because somebody else will.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's gone are the days of you can wait. And I think you probably saw it too, as people waited and waited. I know I saw it in New York and working with attorneys, waited to leave the yellow pages till it was complete. I remember in like 2008, people still spending $50,000 on the yellow pages. And I'm like,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know what yellow pages is. I mean,
yeah, I know my 10-year-old son, if I showed him a yellow pages, he'd be like, what is that? But to your point though, we're living in a busy world. You need to follow up. And you need to use software to do it, because especially if you're number one on Google, like a lot of your clients, I'm sure they're getting a ton of leads, aren't they?
Yep. But at the same time, leads are not what they once were. You have to pre-qualify people. And there's so many people shopping and kicking tires. But the thing is, you have to be able to get people in as soon as possible. We're at the point now, there's so much competition out there that I would rather get a client perfect leads, exact demographics, whatever, answering the questions they want, than 100.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because you don't want to waste time. Your chair time is so valuable that you don't want to waste time or not even have it available when somebody shows up, no show. So it's important to have your lead pre-qualified as much as possible. Make sure they're the right match for you, which in turn will then convert and make your chair time as valuable as possible. Because the last thing you want is to block out 3-4 appointments in the afternoon. And the technology is constantly changing, and it's only changing for the better. And people can only adapt so much and be so good so quickly. This stuff is blowing away. And you know what's crazy? Right now, it's September 2023. ChatGPT came out November of 2022. It's not even 9-10 months. It seems like it's been here for 9-10 years. That's how quickly things change.
And quickly, yeah, and you got to adapt fast, because like you said, your competition is. And you mentioned like people are looking for orthodontists at night, and obviously an alternative for a lot of people is Invisalign. How has marketing Invisalign changed, and how have you adapted to that, and what can it do to a practice? I know it's a lot of big questions.
Invisalign has done an amazing job building their brand up. The public thinks Invisalign is braces. It's not. It's aligners. It's not braces. But the public thinks so. They're the Kleenex of braces. Kleenex is the brand, but nobody knows the name of Mark. They want to buy Kleenex. They want to buy Clorox. They want to buy. So they did an incredible job branding it. It opened up a tremendous opportunity for people who don't want to get metal in the mouth. So it gives. And if you work properly, you don't see your patients as much. So I practices that we work with that want to take their practice to the next level are all in on aligners. All right, Invisalign is great. More people search for Invisalign than they do for orthodontists or braces. All right, because that's how great the job that the Invisalign is doing, build up that brand. But now there are so many options besides Invisalign out there for aligners. Invisalign is a great company. I use Invisalign myself. My kids did. All my practice did. But now there are other options out there that practice could look at that could probably give you the same results that might not be as costly as Invisalign, but you have to adapt to it anyway. So even if a practice does that, it's not using Invisalign, still needs to put it on the website and promote it because that's people are searching for. Nobody's searching for XYZ brand. They're searching for Invisalign.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good point. And what are if someone really wants to dominate the Invisalign market, you said you've got number one Invisalign practice in California. What do you think are the key things that they need to be doing?
Adapting and positioning it. When I first started working in this, the clients of ours that did the best were ones that we promoted that say, if you heard you're not a Invisalign candidate, come to us. There's a lot of practices that didn't think that get the teeth the way they wanted, could get the direction they wanted, could get the results they wanted. But now, unless it's a very, very difficult case, aligners can get you the results you want. So practices that want to be taken to that next level become very effective, efficient, and people don't have to show up as much too. That's the beautiful part about Invisalign. There's so much technologies out there with AI and virtual monitoring that when I had my Invisalign in, I saw my orthodontist 3 times like in 2 years. I never have to go. But I go back to when my son had Invisalign every 6 weeks, 8 weeks to the orthodontist. So think about that. You're a busy mom with 2, 3 kids. Now you have to go to your orthodontist and sit there every 6 weeks. Now forget it. If you use the right thing. Through AI, you could scan your teeth through technology, through dental monitoring is a program that a lot of practices use, and they've been on my podcast. Scan it, and then the doctor basically is seeing the patient more, but not in person. So every week you're scanning your teeth through AI technology. Doctor's looking at your teeth, so seeing you more, but seeing you in a new way.
That's
You
amazing.
know, so people that are adapting to change, adapting to technology, using the tools out there are the ones that are dominating the market.
Very cool. And you mentioned having it on the website. What are some other things, some other best practices in marketing Invisalign that you've found?
Social proof is great. When anybody doesn't know social proof, it's you could crow to the cows come home how great you are, but your patients say how great you are. That's the key. So anybody that is a patient of yours, you want to show how you changed their life. You want to get them to say that how great you are and to show that you made their life better, made them smile, made them happier, got the job they want, got the promotion they want, whatever it is. When you smile and you feel better about yourself, you could conquer the world. If you walk down a busy street like in New York City and you see somebody looking down and walking like this versus somebody happy and smiling, doesn't matter. You feel much that positive vibes, positive energy coming out. Invisalign and braces are game changers for people. It makes them better, happier people. To have social proof and let your patients say how great you are, and to promote Invisalign, to promote a difference maker is important. And remember, once again, you're in the smile business. Nothing better than that, making people smile. So if you could show that you're making people smile, changing their lives, that's the key right there.
It is the key. And we obviously believe that video case stories are one of the best ways to market any business. But you said something important there, and you have to talk about the transformation, don't you? It's not just you have straight teeth now, is it?
Not at all. It's about everything is transformation. At the last Invisalign conference I went to, the underlying theme was transformation. That was their position. Invisalign transformed themselves. They used to be a plastic aligner company. Now they're a technology company is what they are. So they transformed themselves. Your practice needs to transform yourself. It's not your dad's orthodontic practice anymore with wood panel and pictures from SETI, newer, hipper thing. And it's all about how you position yourself.
I don't know. Maybe wood paneling is coming back. Maybe if they just wait longer. But it's so true. It's like you've got to adapt. You've got to change. Because I think so many of these professional practices, for how long did orthodontics not change? It's been braces like 60, 70 years, right?
There's more competition than ever before. And even for dentists, dentists are now able to offer Invisalign and aligners, consumer programs that are out there that are direct. You've got all these new aligner companies besides Invisalign. There are companies like Candid and Spark out there, and OrthoFX that do these kind of things as well, that are branding and trying to to get people to their website to then deliver good to the providers. So it's a lot of noise out there. So how do you get through it? If you do a search on after that, go to Google and do a Invisalign and then put your town in there, guarantee you're going to see some of these big companies marketing themselves directly to the consumer. So it's the game's changed a lot.
It has, but there's a huge opportunity, isn't there, for it's like even dental practices with Invisalign?
Huge. We're working with more and more dental practices than ever before because they need to be educated. But if you're a dentist, would you rather have somebody come in and spend $100, $150 on a cleaning, or somebody come in and spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on aligners?
Yep.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, and then so I've seen this before in cosmetic dentistry too. Is once someone feels a little bit better, they want to do more, don't they?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. After you get your teeth straightened, then you get implants, you get veneers, you get whitening. So you got to get them straightened first. You don't want to put new teeth in and then they're crooked. You don't want to make them whiter if they're all over the place. You want to get your teeth straight, and then from there, then there's a lot of other options to keep a patient happy. The lifetime value of a patient as a GP, especially if you're doing Invisalign, is 6 figures.
Yeah. Yeah. Even more. You were telling me before, you have practices that are opening up multiple offices because of all the marketing that you've done for them, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. We practice in New Jersey. Started with us 5-6 years ago with 2 offices. It's got 6 now. The one I told you was number 1 practice in California. They started with 3, and now they're up to 6 or 7. So practices are expanding, which we're real happy to be their partner in doing so.
And in those types of practices, coming back to are they all doing Invisalign? Is Invisalign core to their growth? Just curious.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't be a traditional metal braces only practice and dominate and take your practice to the level that you want to be. You can't.
Oh, great. This is awesome. So tell me a little bit more about working with Ortho Marketing.
Ortho Marketing, I'd say it's not just our name, it's what we do. So we market orthodontics. We're really good at it, doing this for a long time. I like to position ourselves as a partner in a practice. Just like you can't use the same aligners for every patient, well, we don't use the same marketing for every practice. A practice in New York City has very different needs and demographics than a practice in New Mexico. Or a practice in Sacramento is very different than somebody in Miami. So we come up with unique marketing strategies for the practice, come up with different ways for whatever their goals are to reach those goals and then exceed them, and then consult along the way, helping practices adapt, helping them make the process easier. We consult the practice we met with this morning, doctor referrals. So we brainstormed, they came up with 3 or 4 different ways to be part of the community. Because you think about it, doctor, you're in a market. So if you're listening to this, if you're in a community, you're part of that community. You want to be a part of the foundation there. So anybody to be part of the school systems, be part of Chamber of Commerce, be sponsoring this and that, be partners with things. You want your name out there and seen. So when anybody is thinking, anybody went to a mom group and ask, orthodontist, your name should be there. So we come up with unique strategies, consulting with practices, show them their ROI. We're very transparent on what we do. And at the end of the day, we'd like to make our clients smile. And people with us are with us for a long time, but we have a 92% return rate of people when their contract's up. They come aboard, they stay aboard with us.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, obviously you're doing great work. So we'll put a link to orthomarketing.com on the website. And tell me a little bit more about your podcast.
Yeah, it's called Ortho Marketing Live. We just had a 150th episode.
Congrats.
We're
That's
pretty
awesome.
psyched about. I like to bring in industry leaders. We like to educate, just like you. We like to educate people, entertain them, make people smile, make them laugh, and make them think. And I have a blast doing this. I love what I'm doing. I'm sure you do the same way.
Yeah.
If anybody just wants to be more informed or educated, and if you want to smile, check it out. We're on all the major podcast platforms. Find us on YouTube. You can just go to orthomarketing.com and find our podcast. The link is right there. And I love it. And we also always like to have new guests on. So if anybody thinks that they might be a good guest or wants to be introduced to the orthodontic or dental world, my pleasure. And obviously you're going to be joining us soon as well.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited to be on there. I love it. I love talking about marketing in general. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes. That's amazing. 150 episodes. This is the kind of information that if you're an orthodontist, if you're a dentist, you need to be listening to this on your drive into work every day. because otherwise the person is the one that's opening up 4 or 5 practices and really growing. And so, Dean, thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show. This has been a lot of fun. And real quick, one last question. I'm going to put you on the spot. I didn't prepare it for this, but you're a dad and you work with, I'm sure, a bunch of orthodontists that are dads. What's the worst orthodontist or dad joke you've heard?
How does the hamburger introduce his girlfriend?
I don't know.
Meet Patty.
All right.
Thank you very much.
That's a great one. Yeah, he got me smiling. So awesome. Mr. Simon, thank you so much for being on. And we look forward to having you on again.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody. And those of you who don't follow me on social media, follow us on Ortho Marketing. And 2 words for everybody: go Jets.
Go Jets. Go Jets. All right. Thank you all for taking Dean and I your journey. This has been Iron Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.